Today on 2 Minute Truths, we're going to talk about righting our wrongs. Have you ever done something that you knew you probably shouldn't do? Maybe even you were advised against it, and yet you did it anyway. And then shortly thereafter, things just started falling apart. Your conscience got the better of you. Things got complicated, and you knew, hey, I got to make this wrong right. Well, this is how God chooses to end the book of 2 Samuel. In 2 Samuel chapter 24, Israel has sinned, and then David falls into the temptation of taking an unnecessary and uncalled for census. Now, we don't know why for sure. Maybe it was a point of pride and arrogance. Hey, look how many people I've got. Or maybe it was kind of like self-reliance. Hey, if I'm going to get in a jam, I want to make sure I've got enough people to get me out of it. But for whatever reason it was, we do know that after David did it, he knew he had done wrong. And God, being a just God, he deals with and judges Israel and David for their sin. But in mercy, he relents. And he tells David, I want you to bring me a sacrifice here on this very land where I showed you mercy. So David goes to the owner of the land and said, I want to buy this land. I want to buy your oxen. I want to buy the wood, all so that I can sacrifice to God. Now the owner of the land turns to King David and say, this is yours. You can have it free and clear, no charge. But David says, I will not offer to God that which costs me nothing. I mean, that's the nature of sacrifice. It's got to cost you something. So I wonder, why did God put this story at the end of 2 Samuel to close out David's life? Well, perhaps it's to tell us that no matter how much he's blessed us, we should never get too big for our britches. Maybe it's to warn us that we should always listen to wise counsel. And maybe it's to tell us that God will always deal with sin, no matter who we are. But I think it's there to remind us that if we want our story to end well, we have to be like David. We have to humble ourselves and be willing to face our sin and be willing to right our wrongs. So this week, humble yourself before God. Ask Him what wrongs you might need to right. Do whatever you need to do before Him so that your story ends well. God bless you. We will see you next week.